welcome to a brand new episode of New School of Public Wrestling. I am Petrie,
I'm Chris.
and welcome to the show. Today we'll be talking about Lucha Underground and a whole bunch of other things as well, which we haven't decided upon yet, which is probably isn't true because I'm pretty sure Chris told me and I can't remember.
Beautiful.
All right. At least the first thing we talk about is the new company Lucha Underground, which to me, I watched a little here and there on YouTube of what Lucha Underground is, and man, Chris, you kept talking about it, and I wasn't too sure because I kept thinking, oh, here we go, another TNA knockoff. But I watched some of it, and I'm thinking to myself, even even the debut of it, it's familiar, but oddly, refreshingly different.
Yeah, very
You know
true.
what I mean?
Yeah, very true. Very,
Yeah,
very true.
I mean, they have the McMahon character, they have his lackeys, but you know what? They have some of the traditional technicos
Mm-hmm.
of Lucha Libre, and that's really refreshing to see because in this country you haven't seen much of it.
No, it's been lacking big time. I mean, probably since really the early 2000s.
Yeah,
There's been no luchadors. Really?
and that's true. And even storyline wise, there has been nothing else
No.
besides the main angles they've done in wrestling have been the I'm head in charge. I have 50,000 people under my control, and then the only way anyone else can compete is if that other guy who wants to who is going to be like the top face, he has to have 50,000 other top baby faces to compete and have like this little war. I don't think I'm tired of saying that. Lucha Underground just seems completely different. You know, there's like the heel who's just in it for the money, and then you have like the technicos who's in it because they love wrestling. I really shouldn't be using heel in this sentence. I really should be using Rudo, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you have the Rudos versus the technicos, and that's really refreshing to see in this country. Um, Chris, what do you have to say about that?
Well, it's good to see something so different.
Yeah,
Um, it's just so like it's refreshing to see something else besides WWE and TNA. I mean,
mm-hmm.
We have Ring of Honor, but they don't tap into the lucha market. We have um, Pro Wrestling Girl and a couple other off type companies, but we don't have anything that talks about Lucha Libre. The closest thing that's been related to Lucha Libre was when the NWA made Blue Demon Jr. their heavyweight champion a few years ago. Um, that's the closest thing.
Which was
Okay,
that was a bit that was abysmal.
it was. It didn't work out because the NWA itself is just bad. But um, that's the closest we've gotten besides Rey Mysterio Jr. To Lucha Libre in a long time. That other guy, Mystico, didn't work out too well. But I mean, we really haven't been exposed to a lot of Lucha Libre. We need it. There needs to be other companies. Like I'm so sick of like you said, the one big brand, the one big formula for storylines, or some big
Yeah,
guy owns a
which
company.
really which really comes into
Mm-hmm.
the same thing. There's no like one big company
Yeah,
or even one big brand. It just comes down to the same glob of that's what it is. Pretty much. TNA does the same thing. WWE does the same thing. They're interchangeable. I mean, you could take an Austin Aries and replace him with Dolph Ziggler, which I shouldn't be saying that. They're two talents I both like, but they're interchangeable pretty much. You can take one part from WWE and put it in TNA, and it still be the same, and
it's
vice versa. You know what I mean?
yeah, it's.
Lucha Underground is just trying to do something different. If Shikara had the same chance, I'm sure they'd be doing the same thing.
I think that's the thing too, and I think they're trying to do it. I think they're going to be better than Lucha Libre USA because yes, they're on like another network, but it seems like this is more well known. At least on the internet, I've seen a lot of different posts for it, and I've seen a lot of advertising for it. Like I'm pretty impressed. Like
Yeah.
they're getting the
Oh
word
yeah.
out. Lucha Libre USA, I saw nothing for that. MTV did a horrendous job of promoting that. This is like you just get this feel that this is something different, and it's been done right, and someone put money into this. I mean, that's a big factor, you know. And right off the bat, they established their brand, something that TNA has failed for like almost the past 14 years to do. Um,
Yeah, I agree with that.
they just this is like we're gritty, we're tough, we're in your face, and we're not interested in the other guy. We are who we are, and you're gonna like what we got to bring. I mean, they just got a lot of good quality wrestlers, you can tell, and they already established what they are, and they're doing that in their promos. When I watch their commercials, and they're just they put an effort. You can see that it's well done, and it's separating itself completely, and it's gonna bring you into their world. They're not gonna try to like have their world put up upon you. And I think that's been TNA's problem, where they try to tell you so much that it's so good, it's so good, it's so good, when that just shows you that their product sucks.
That's true.
Lucha
Yeah,
Underground's like, we have nothing to prove. We're just coming, and you're gonna like it, and you get that feel with it. I don't know. I mean, I think it's pretty awesome. It's just like you're gonna be hooked into their world because of the good writing and the quality wrestling. That makes all the difference, you know.
that's true. And from what I saw of the advertisements is that, hey, you like good wrestling? I think that a lot of people like us, they look at each other like, yeah, of course. What are you talking about? Of course we look good wrestling. That's what we live for. But another thing I saw in the advertisements is that they had is that if you're a casual fan and if you want to get in on the ground level of something, it's like Lucha Underground is really the way to go. You don't need the whole backlog of months, years, hell, even decades of storylines to get in. You know, the thing about Raw is that you have to know at least 2 months of storyline before you can start watching the show. Pretty much like with every soap opera there is. You have to know at least what's going on. Oh yeah, you can watch it for 2 months and be like, oh okay, that's what's going on. That's how those shows are written. But with like the WWE, it's just a little bit different. You have to know where like who Kane is, what Kane was before that, and a million iterations of that to who Kane, like what he was originally.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really daunting to like a wrestling fan. This is like the brand new like reboot of Doctor Who. You don't need to know what happened in the classic series. You can just enjoy it in the modern. Here it is. Boom. You're kosher. You get it now. You're fine. And even if you don't, it just seems like they're gonna like they have the internet now. They can like have those backlogs of shows. They could probably have seasons. Do seasons. Please do seasons. What is so god awfully wrong about wrestling having seasons?
Yeah, I don't think anything's wrong with it. I think it's a good idea because I think a lot of things get dragged out and it gets stale. And like wrestling fans need new companies. I mean, it's just getting stale.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, absolutely.
it's just there's too much oversaturation of WWE. I mean, there's just too much, and I don't watch the shows. I could care less. And like every like pay per view, I hear people complain. I'm like, then stop watching it because it's not gonna get better, and it's gonna get worse before it even gets semi decent, and it'll never get better. I mean, that's the thing. It's just like you can't cure the dead. You know, it's just that
For sure.
product's so far gone.
Yeah, that's great. You can't cure the dead. We're about 10 years after the fact since ECW really just should have stopped existing.
I know.
As much as I take a guilty pleasure in it, CCW should not be existing.
Well,
What else? What other company?
any, I
I guess
mean,
ROH this is controversial. I guess ROH to an extent, for as ultra violent as CCW is, with its Dreamer equivalents and Sandman equivalents. On the ROH side, you have the Benoit equivalent and Malenko equivalent, without really like bringing something else to it, minus the pure title. The pure title was pretty lost, but still, it really didn't do much to separate itself from ECW. Now we're past that point. The idea of like an ECW is dead. I was like, okay, that's fine. Let's mourn for it. We're sad, whatever. Let's move on. And now we're finally hitting like that hump. I'm like, okay, let's see what else we can do here. Let's try something different, which is completely refreshing.
It is, yeah. I mean, ROH. I want to do like a. We'll definitely do another podcast on them, but they're pretty smart for like they're just getting all the talent back to them. People that are that have left TNA and stuff, and they're kind of rebooting. But yeah, like the ECW kind of style. I think what should have happened was that XPW or another promotion like MLW, if they would have stayed around instead.
I don't think XPW would have done that. XPW was copying CZW,
Yeah,
but maybe MLW would have
yeah.
done something.
If they would have stayed, I mean, they would have had credibility. They still would have been in business today because at least, all right, you're getting your hardcore version or whatever. So like that's a company that you can get your hardcore fix from. But trying to bring in all these other companies, it's too much. And I mean, I think I wish MLW would have stayed in business because they did do it right. They were on the right track. It just all fell apart. But um, that would have been the only company that that would have established itself as the hardcore brand. That's the new ECW, and a lot of good talent could have evolved from that, to now. But we don't have it, unfortunately. But
Oh, oh well. To some weird extent, I do think the talent depth in the indies is oddly limitless.
it
You
really
know,
is.
because you're always going to have someone who's going to say like, "Oh, hey, I can do that." You think if you have like 1,000 guys thinking they can go in and do that, you're going to have like at least one or two who can like legit actually do that
Uh
with
huh.
like training. Just like dumb beginner's luck. That's all you're going to get, which is fun. You know,
Yeah, I mean,
this is some serious. This is some. And it's a serious business. I understand, but you know what? Why can't someone get lucky?
I know.
You know,
I think
just saying.
I know. It's tough because we're in such a. I really think though, like people don't notice, but the independents are the new territories. They're a lot smaller than the territories, but they're territories. Like I just see it happening already. We're getting back to that kind of vibe. We're like, and Jeff Jarrett's doing that with GFW. Like he's saying, here's South Africa. That's like a territory. He's saying Ring of Honor is a territory. You're kind of getting that vibe again with what they're going. But there's a lot of things that are like coming. I think 2015 is going to be a very positive year for wrestling because there's going to be such growth. I think with new companies and like
Yeah,
it's just going to be a nice influx of new, refreshing wrestling instead of the boring, dragged out garbage that TNA presents every week. Um, it's better to get something new and fresh than watch the same thing go on and on again. I mean, um, with this Lucha Underground, I think we're on the right path. You want me to go over the roster real quick?
for Lucha, yes, please.
All right, there's new and old here. There's Aaron Aguilera, which I thought he died. Maybe I was wrong. I don't know. Let me take a look. I just want to see who this is.
Okay.
Um, must be. Yeah, I guess so. Uh,
New?
it's not S.A. Rios though. I don't think. Well, no. Yeah, I guess it was. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh no, it wasn't.
you
No,
know,
he was
this guy.
like he was some other guy. I know who this guy is. Okay, he's the guy from what, UPW or whatever. He was like that one guy with Carlito that like with wore the suspenders. He was a part of like Team Hardcore back in the day.
Drawing the blank. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, he was like Carlito's like henchman guy, like his Tony Montana's like backup guy kind of thing. I know who he is. Um, yeah,
Yeah,
he wasn't there long.
yeah. With the suspenders.
Yeah, he was there about.
Yeah. This is when like John Cena was like feuding with Carlino for the EOS title, right?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
See,
Okay.
he's
I
there.
never thought. I never thought he was atrocious. I was always entertained.
Yeah, I mean, it's like one of those things you didn't really get to see anything out of it because he just left. But um, B Boy, Big Rick, or Reich, that's Ezekiel Jackson. Blue Demon Jr., Brian Cage, Chavo Guerrero Jr., Cisco, Cortez Castro, Drago, El Hijo de Fantasma, Phoenix, Famous B, Johnny Mundo, which is
John Morrison.
yeah, Magnificent Martin, Murites or something. Pentagon Jr., Prince Puma, which is Puma from TNA. Ricky Mandel, Sean Hernandez, and Son of Havoc. Um, Female wrestlers: Angela Fong, Katrina Vesely or something, and Sexy Star. Other on-air
there's only four women.
Yeah, only four women so far. One's a manager. That's Katrina.
Okay, they can change that. They can definitely change that.
Yeah.
You want to be something different in this day and age. You got to be different with that.
Well, they're doing the intergender title where it's like man against woman, so that's kind of interesting.
Okay, fair enough. You can get some good angles out of that, which is good, which is important. I don't want to sound like a shrewd businessman, but like, hey, you kind of have to be in this situation.
Yeah. Dario Cateto, on-air personality, authority figure. Holly Michelle, and then Conan, who's the manager of Puma.
The commercials I saw, they made no bones about it. He's like in a wheelchair now.
Yeah, he's pretty banged up. He's in rough shape.
He's just like incredibly ballsy, but like still at the same time like awesome.
Yeah.
Look, he still wants to work. He still wants to put people over. It's like, hell, if he's in that situation and he wants to talk to me, oh, I'll listen.
Why not? You can't lose. It's a good idea.
Oh, great idea.
Good color commentating team. They have Matt Striker and Vampiro, so there you go. You get.
Great.
I mean, Matt Striker's a good color commentator, and you got Vampiro that does. Knows so much about Lucha Libre, so that's a good combination. Ring announcers: Melissa Santos, and then I don't know her. Justin Borden, Rick Knox, and Marty Elias.
This is on You Don't Have to Wrestling Society X guys who just made, even as ring announcers, made the shows about themselves. If they have something other than that, hey, that's fine.
I think we got a good thing here, though.
I think they do too.
It was originally called Lucha Uprising, which I like that too. That's pretty cool. That might actually, I like that better actually, because they're like, it's an upcoming product and it's gonna be something special. So I like that name. I like that better, but they changed.
I love the emblem on the mat.
Yeah,
that's cool too.
Well, it's so gritty and it's such a good like Street Fighter kind of looking show that it really intrigues your interest, and the video production quality's there, and it's not like, when TNA started, it was so hodgepodge and crappy, and so like, just cheesy. You could tell it was junk. But when you look at like this, it's like, wow, someone spent money and time and they put an effort into the product. So hey, I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna watch the show on Wednesday. I'm making an effort to get off, get home from the gym, do whatever I got to do, and make sure I'm ready by 8 o'clock to watch the show because it's interesting and I believe in the product already. I'm already sold on it because I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, I agree. I hope you tape it because I don't think I can watch it. I have to work that night.
Oh, crap. Yeah, I'll tape it.
Thank you. But it seems like they pump more money into it than like XPW, but it seems like they put more time to it than they would Wrestling Society X.
Exactly.
It looks gritty but real, but still at the same time it looks gritty, but not like that fake hot hockey kind of gritty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's not a lot of wrestlers. It looks like there's only 20 on the roster. I'm sure that will change up and down, but I think it's just solid for being there. It's all about the wrestling, and that's what, TNA. I always go back to that because that's like an abysmal failure. I mean, that's what you don't do with your wrestling product. They're a great, great example of how you don't market a product and how you don't try to run an organization. It's just a perfect poster child. If you want to look at failure, you put that up on a poster and stare at it for 5 minutes and then move on, because it's just, that product has been so abysmal for so long. It's embarrassing. Like and like my friend Jason, we do shows with him. He talked about it. He said, there's like 6 or 7 TNA shows on demand right now, and he's like, I could watch them at any time, but he's like, I don't want to. Like, there's no need to watch them.
Yeah.
There's nothing exciting about it. And the product's so far gone that you can't even get excited about it, even when they're trying. And my problem is, why do you have to try anymore? Like, why wasn't this good before? And why do you have to prove to us again and again that this is the best product? See, it goes back to knowing your brand and knowing what you are, and they screw up on this constantly. If you're all about wrestling, then why wasn't there good wrestling the past 5-6 years ago? Why is it all of a sudden now we're going to try a reboot? You shouldn't have to ever reboot your product. If you're rebooting your product, you're doing something wrong. And you're admitting you're doing something wrong. I mean, it's just, It's so blatantly obvious. It's sad. But with
It's
this,
very sad.
I'm just gonna say like this product wouldn't even have to reboot itself because it already established what it is, and in their world they don't know anything about a reboot. They're not gonna reboot anything. That's who they are. You know, it makes sense. It's just it's already above TNA. It isn't that sad? It just is. It hasn't even debuted yet.
Right? Yeah. Hey, sorry over you great talent over at TNA. You really should have jumped ship. Sorry.
Well, I
You
mean,
know,
it,
saying that,
I know. What can you do though?
man, honestly, pull the plug on TNA, let it die quickly and as painlessly as possible. You hold on to that library, though. You hold on to that library. Do not let them get that library.
Very true. Well, I think I'm excited for Lucha Underground. I think it has a great roster. I think it's gonna establish itself as a good brand. They're not bringing guys in that are gonna waste time. They're not bringing. I love people say, "Well, you have to bring established talent to put the talent, to help put the younger guys over." That's crap. Like honestly, you don't need that. This company here, I guess there is established Lucha Libre talent, but it's so fresh and new to the whole American audience. They're not gonna know who the hell's who. So I mean, really, when you look at it, it doesn't really matter. The product will sell itself, I think, and I think it's one of those situations where you don't need this. Oh, we got to bring in 30 old guys to help put over 10 new guys. No, this is just gonna be awesome.
Oh, absolutely. 100%.
So I'm all for it. I'm taping it on Wednesday. I can't wait to show you Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, let's do it. Like, I can't wait.
I know. I'm excited. I'll buy the first pay per view. I mean, it's gonna be fun to watch, and I think they got a good product, and I'll be amazed if this fails. I really will. But stranger things have happened. But I mean,
Yeah, I don't think it will.
well, I think we had a good show. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, well, would you like to talk about anything else?
Well, eventually, I'm just gonna wrap this up, and then we'll.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, I'm Chris.
Peter.
All right. Good night.
Mwah.